Πολύ καλησπέρα σας. Ένα θερμό καλωσόρισμα από όλη την ομάδα του Startup Grind. Είμαστε ιδιαίτερα χαρούμενοι που σας έχουμε και σήμερα μαζί μας. Σε αυτή την ιδιαίτερα ζεστή και ασυνήθιστα υψηλή θερμοκρασία σήμερα στην Αθήνα. Έχουμε έναν πολύ ιδιαίτερο καλεσμένο, ο οποίος μας έρχεται από το εξωτερικό. Είναι ο πρώτος μας διεθνής ομιλητής, ο οποίος έχει και ένα πολύ ιδιαίτερο case. Ενώ οι περισσότεροι founders κοιτάνε να στήσουν την εταιρεία τους στην Ελλάδα και να εξάγουν το προϊόν τους στο εξωτερικό, ο Klaus έχει ακριβώς το αντίστροφο thinking. Και ενώ έχει ξεκινήσει από Αγγλία, Ισπανία και Κολομβία, με το back office φυσικά στη Θεσσαλονίκη, έχει πλάνα να αναπτύξει τις δραστηριότητες της startup του στην Αθήνα και περισσότερο ευρύτερα στην Ελλάδα. Με αυτά και με αυτά θα ήθελα να σας καλωσορίσω τον Klaus. Ένα θερμό χειροκρότημα.
Thank you, Dimitris.
See, I'm a good host. I'm giving you the great mic.
Thank you.
So, thanks a lot for joining us. It's a real honor. Guys, I have to tell you the story. We met in San Francisco in February, where we had our global conference in Startup Grind. And we were just chatting, and Klaus was telling me the story of Book and Bloom and how he was planning to expand his operations in Greece. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. I mean, we should really host you. And he said, yeah, sure. I mean, why not? I was like, okay, we have a slot in April. And he said, well, that's amazing because I'm coming to Greece around that time, so let's make it happen. And here you are. Thanks a lot.
Let's make it happen.
Exactly. Perfect. So a lot of exciting news about Book and Bloom. Before we go there, I would like to kick off this fireside chat with a little bit about yourself, like your youth and how you got involved with entrepreneurship. It's always interesting to me.
It is. And okay, my story is I'm Danish, born in Denmark. And I always say I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years, and that's when my mom stops me and she says, Klaus, no, it's not true. You started when you were 4 years old. And I said, Mom, what do you mean? He said, it's true. One day I saw you coming out of the supermarket with a big bag of sweets, and you were 4 or 5 years old. And I ran over and I grabbed your arm and I said, where did you get the money from? Because she thought I had stolen it from her purse. And I just looked up at her and said, Mom, I learned to bicycle, so I sold my supporting wheels. I had these bicycles with 2 wheels on the side, so I screwed them off and I sold them to the neighbor's son who didn't know how to bicycle. So I saw a problem and I had a solution for €1. And I bought a lot of sweets. So my parents were entrepreneurs. My parents and my grandfather was an entrepreneur, so it must be a little bit genetic. I have grown up with seeing people, working hard for their ideas, perseverance through hard times. My father modernizing his factory. So it's been something that I have grown up with. The first very business was a windsurfing school. I was the windsurfing instructor, and we were selling surfboards and all kind of things. And then it became 93, and the European Union had this change of free movement of goods, and no one really knew what that meant. But it actually meant that there were no monopoly on meaning that Procter & Gamble could not say that Ariel is my product and you cannot sell it in my country. So we saw that opportunity. It was a market that was created not by us but by the European legislation. So we ended up sitting and trading consumer goods in Copenhagen. And it was really interesting because when we walked into a supermarket chain with a piece of lock soap and we put it on the desk and we said, we can sell this to you 30% cheaper than the one you were buying, it was easy to sell. That took me to sort of trading activities in Russia. We ended up selling food stuff in Russia, salamis and all kinds of, it was 94, 95, you know, you could sell anything in Russia.
In Russia.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
It was really fun. And Russia in the 90s, it was wild east. And anything that could go wrong would go wrong. I mean, it was really funny. So if you had a truckload arriving, you could be sure that it would have a punctured tire, it would rush off the road into the ditch, and the bulldozer that would go there to pick it up would break down as well. I mean, everything would happen wrong, so it was really crazy time. That led to me going to Moscow, and this is maybe a good advice. So in one dinner I was sitting with a property management company from America, from Houston, and the guy, we were having beer and talking, and he was explaining about his properties, and they had offices for high quality offices. And he started to complain about that he didn't have the quality that his tenants were asking for. I mean, it was not clean enough, and they didn't have the service that they were supposed to provide. And and that's entrepreneurial. Maybe you hear that as a sort of buying signal. Someone has a problem. So I thought, and I turned around to him and said, so if I make you a cleaning company that gives you that service that you want, like we know from London or Paris or Copenhagen, would you buy from me? And he said, I have nothing to lose. I mean, I would give it a shot. I would definitely. So I flew home, thinking that, if we could make a cleaning company, I had a very good customer there. So took to Denmark, got the first 30 cleaners educated with an education system we have from Denmark. Went back to Russia and got this customer as my first customer in 97 or something. And that ended up being 1,000 employees in Russia. We were awarded Business of the Year by the American Chamber of Commerce. So, it went from that little beer conversation, and I ended up having all IKEAs in Russia, in St. Petersburg, and we had all the businesses from that client. We did the American Embassy, so the essence of that is, listen to what goes around you, and if you're an entrepreneur, grab that problem and solve it for something and so on.
So it just, I think the message here is try to have your eyes open and your, to grab any opportunity. But I'm really interested to know how you came up with the Book and Bloom idea.
Okay, it's also a great story. First of all, I come from a family of small businesses, so I saw my father, sitting at the monochrome screen and trying to get his own little business online, and not online, but digitalized and using technology. So I come from a small business background myself in that matter. But it actually started in Cyprus. I had an engineering, I lived in Cyprus at that time, so I had an engineering company there doing photovoltaic projects, solar power plants, large and small. And Bob is my co-founder. He was actually an intern in the company, and we started discussing about doing other things. Babis has a background of founding a robotics team, so he has technology and executional experience even at a young age. So we started talking about what we could do, and it sort of, we felt that the future of Facebook would be as an operational platform. We felt confident that people will put their privacy issues aside at some point and feel confident enough to do more on Facebook. And so our understanding of where small businesses were with a pen and a paper, and where we could see the consumers going with a smartphone and Facebook, we sort of said, what if we combine those two things? What if we give the small business an operational tool, a business management tool, and we put it on top of Facebook and let them operate where the customers are? So that is the combination of me having an understanding of small businesses and their needs, and my co-founders or the idea in the same way. So brainstorming ideas and a bit of experience.
So you talked about Bob is your co-founder, but how the hell did he convince you to base your whole back office in Thessaloniki?
I must have been drunk. No, actually, so as I said, Babis was an intern, and that engineering company we had, we realized that we had been sitting more than 2 years in Cyprus. We had a pipeline of projects for, I think, 1.5 million euros or something, but nothing happened. The Cyprus government did not issue any license, nothing happened. So, I mean, at some point I knew we had to close this company and throw away the keys because nothing was happening. So it was great to talk to Babis and say, okay, what can we do? So the first couple of brainstormings, we had some ideas, we threw them away, but then this project came up and we sort of stuck with that idea. And Babis said, okay, I would like to go back to Thessaloniki. I have a really good network there because of what he did with the Aristotle University and the Pandora robotics team. So he said, I think I can go back there, and if we set up the base there, I can find our first engineers, people that I know, or I can at least get access to from the university. So it was Babis having to go back and finish his degree, which I think took 3 years longer than it should.
But that's typical, come on.
It took 3 more years. His parents were about to get really fed up with me, I think. But at the end of the day, we all succeeded.
So how easy or difficult is it to work with Greeks?
Okay.
Yes.
And Greeks from Thessaloniki, yes. I was made aware today that there's a difference between Athens and Thessaloniki. Now, and I'm Danish, okay, so I come from Denmark. I come from a very small, very organized, very, let's say, perfect little society. So, of course, there is differences, and I have many times taken myself in being pissed off that there was nobody at 9 o'clock, answering messages or a little bit. But then again, then they were there at 10 past 9. But then again, they were also there 10 past 9 in the evening. Okay, that I had to accept that yes, they are not there 9 o'clock, and they are not there 5 to 9, which I wish they were. But they are also there 9 o'clock in the evening, and they didn't go home at 6 o'clock and pick up their things. So that's a matter of accepting culture and learning culture. So it's not that Greek engineers are worse or better. Actually, maybe they are better than many engineers, because your education system, I mean, they come out with a master's already. I mean, you guys have done mathematics for years and years. You have learned problem solving, you have learned research, you have learned presentation, you have learned many more things than engineers from other countries have done. So they are of high quality, Greek engineers. Okay, so I don't see a problem. So once you have overcome this, that why the fuck are they not there at 9 o'clock? Then you're fine. And it has been really, really great. I would never change it. It's we can also not say without mentioning the money. It is of course an interesting, from an investor's perspective, burn rate, the cost. We know what engineers cost in US, we know what engineers cost in the UK and what they can cost in Germany. Still, if we can get quality engineers in Greece at half the price or less than what they cost in Europe, then from a business perspective, I can hire more people, I can develop my product faster, and I can make a better product. I mean, we have 14 people sitting in Thessaloniki today, so we couldn't do that with a German burn rate or a UK cost, salary cost.
No, and it makes a great impact on the economy here in Greece. I mean, we really need this type of startups that bring this type of jobs here in Greece. Because as you said, we have really well-educated people, but it seems like there is a mismatch between the business world and the universities. But anyway, let's not get into that. So, all right. So you just raised $11.5 million. So congratulations. Euros, sorry, even better then. So can you tell us a little bit more about the deal and how it was done, and a little bit more about it?
Okay, so yes, first of all, it's great to have raised capital, and it's needed for a company to grow. And how many of you have a startup? Raise your hand. How many is in a startup or have a startup? So, and how many are thinking of having a startup? So there's a couple of people, yeah. It goes without saying that you cannot grow your business without money, but it all comes in steps. So we could not have raised this money 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and it follows a pattern, okay? And you need to be at certain stages. So what happened here is that we have still a very good investor who came on board from day one, and who has invested about 2 million euros in the company, and has funded this whole development process 2 or 3 times agile, going back, fixing products, listening to the customers, going back, fixing it again, and it takes time. It took almost 3 years. So we got in touch with this venture capital firm, and they saw the same opportunities that freelancers and small businesses, of which 80 to 90% are still working with a pen and a paper, that they need to digitalize, modernize, and move into an environment that their customers are used to. And as a customer, you are ordering your pizza, your taxi, all the other things by your smartphone. So the small business needs to place themselves in an environment where this is possible. So we started negotiating with them already back in November. And these things takes time, and thank God we were funded by our own investor, but it takes time and paperwork, and we hoped that it would go faster, but it just takes its time. So finally we agreed with them to close this round a few weeks ago, and I would say the official announcement of this is going to happen at the end of April, first week of May, where we will also give the name out of this investor. And the reason for that is not public yet, is that they would like also their own social presence and websites and stuff like that to be written. But we are part of a very nice group of companies with great innovation. One of the companies is building connectivity in Africa, wireless and Wi-Fi into villages. We are talking thousands of villages in Africa. So we become a part of a really nice family. The basis of the fund is high net worth individuals. So it's interesting.
So what's your plan now? I mean, you got this Series A funding. How do you plan to use the money and to expand and develop the product or expand the business?
Okay, so we have our roadmap, and the roadmap is both for the product and for the business. And so what we want to do when we now have a funding like this, we want to strengthen our team in the engineering team. So yes, we are hiring 4 or 5 more engineers. So applicants are, Babis is there, so put your CV in. We are hiring more for the team here in Athens, for the sales team as well. But we are also strengthening our teams in Spain and Colombia, as you mentioned. We have a presence. And then it's going into acquisition, so it's marketing and spend. So strengthening the team, going into new markets also, and getting a customer acquisition. But it's not like you're having 11 million in the bank account. So, you have to have certain milestones. You need to deliver to that, and you need to also not go crazy with your burn rate, because you can only spend the money one time. And even if you have small money, if you have raised 5,000 from a friend, you have to think very much, what you're spending those 5,000. Because once they're spent, they're spent.
Well, I don't know. In Greece, we have this experience with Troika, and they're giving us all this money with little by little. So we know the story very
Okay.
well, unfortunately.
Okay.
So, tell us where you are more or less in terms of numbers, in terms of users, bookings, just to give us an idea.
Okay. So, as I said, we went through the process of testing the product and building the product, and I don't know if you know exactly what the product. So the product is, Book and Bloom is a business management tool. It's a small business suite that a freelancer or a small business operates her business or his business from Facebook. So we allow them to operate from their Facebook page, taking bookings, having a loyalty program, issuing reminders, etc. So it's what a small appointment business needs. It took us a couple of rounds to get it right. So today we have, I think, 350 businesses signed up for the product. I think we have roughly 30% that are regular users of the product right now. We're seeing 800, 900 bookings a week over the product. So the metrics are starting to come in and going in the right direction. But what is more important in those metrics, some of them are like registrations in the beginning. You have to be careful not to look at a metric that is just for vanity. Okay? Many people ask, how many registrations do you have? And that's really a vanity metric. And if you're starting your business, make sure that you find out what is a metric that tells the true story. Okay? And not just something that makes you feel good and go home, that, we had 1,000 downloads. Great. But it's not a metric maybe that is useful for you. So what is useful here is the ratio between installations and daily or monthly active users. It's much more important that you have people that are monthly or daily active users of your product. So we have distilled our metrics down to one thing that we call our North Star. And our North Star is bookings. Bookings tells us that customers, shops are using the system, clients are using the tool and making bookings. So I would rather first get to 2,000 bookings a week, and whether that's achieved on 100 customers or it's achieved, I would rather achieve, that we see people are using the product. But we need to grow that number, and that's why we are expanding the team in Greece and in Colombia and in Madrid as well.
Well, I always wonder, when you close a deal, are you already thinking about the next one?
That's the job of me as a CEO. That is to think 6 and 12 months ahead for the company. And yes, this is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money in the big picture. If you want to go to the US, if you want to roll out in India and Asia, etc. So then the number becomes quite small. So of course I'm already thinking of who are we going to team up with for the next round, who will be a good fit for us when we have to roll out into the US, etc. So yes, the next day you start thinking about what's going to happen in 12 months' time. Not actively maybe, but you start networking.
So, apart from the money itself, what are you looking in terms of an investor as a team member? How are you, go around and say, I want to choose to tag along with these guys because they're going to help me with X, Y, Z?
Now here I will maybe get a little bit unpopular, but 9.5 out of 10 VCs doesn't do anything for you. I mean, unless it's Accel Partners, Sequoia, or some of these top VCs, they can really open a lot of doors for you. They can really help you with their network. They can maybe even help you with partnering up with other. But the rest of them, they are not going to do any work for you. I mean, and this is just the truth. I mean, they are investors, and they maybe have 100 or 200 portfolio companies, but actively they don't do a lot. So it's not so much that you go and search for an investor that can open doors, but you need to open the doors. You need to make a partnership. You need to manage this yourself. But if they do that, of course, it's an added-on. Don't go and and say this VC is great for me because X, Y, and Z. It will not work that way. It's very few of them that really adds value on a board or an advisory board.
Okay, interesting, because we keep hearing about different stories here in Greece, so it's nice to see this perspective. At this stage, I would like to just remind you that you can jump in at any time and ask any kind of questions. We don't have to wait until the end, so just raise your hands and fire up your question to Claus. So, you're now opening in Athens a new office. So I would like to ask you, what's it like to launch in a new city? What's the high-level rollout plan?
Okay, this is something that we have also had to learn. We build a product that has a global appeal. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a hairdresser in Helsinki, or you are a dog walker in Buenos Aires, or you are a masseur here in Athens. We're solving the same problem of transforming your business from pen and paper to digital. So we knew from the beginning that we need to expand, we need to localize, as we call it, we need to grow into new markets. So we did those in 2 testing rounds. We did that with Madrid, and we did that with Bogota as well. And what we learned is that despite it's a global problem we're solving, it has to be solved very local. We need to be local with the marketing, we need to be local with the social media, we need to be local with our salespeople. So we have found a model that we call a country team. And a country team consists of 6 people. It's a country manager. Country manager has to be entrepreneurial, driven, get shit done, go do it attitude. You know, it has to be someone that knows a little bit of everything, sales, marketing, maybe it's strong in one part, but a little bit of everything, because he is becoming the CEO of a little startup that gets a product that is developed already. So the country manager, and we have actually our country manager from Spain here, he was getting product training and everything, but he's running Spain for us. And then there is a marketeer, and there is a social media community manager. So these are people that are from the local market, that understands the local ecosystem, maybe in speciality in some verticals, beauty, health, whatever. And then we need 3 what we call key account managers. And when you say that to an investor, you know, oh my God, you know, feet on the ground, expensive, non-sustainable, non-expandable. Yes, we know all of that, but you cannot get into a market, and especially not the market of small businesses, without walking the streets, listening to them, knocking some doors, and getting the first traction. Whether it's 50 customers or 100 customers, but you need to pay that expensive customer acquisition in the beginning. So a country team is 6 people, and they run the country and deliver hopefully to us. And the same we are now doing in Colombia, and hopefully this year we will expand into some more Latin American markets. So now we call it a playbook. Okay, it's a little bit, you know, we do this, this, and this in week 2, 3, and 4, and week 5, 6, and 7 we do this, and at the end of these 12 weeks we hopefully are here where there's an entire team up and running, and we have the first 50 customers that we can interact with.
It's like Tesla's master plan.
Yeah, or an Uber rollout.
So, we have a question over there.
Yes, Klaus, what do you think is who do you think is your main competitor? This is very interesting. In this business that you are starting,
Yes.
Is it the pen and pencil is so you are transforming that business into digital. So who else is doing that?
So there is many different levels of competitors here. So today, most of these people, they are using a telephone and a calendar and a pen. So you can say that they are doing something else that is competing with my offer. Okay, so they will say, but you know, my telephone is working, and you know, so I need to change a habit first of all. Then there is the next level. Some of them are maybe using an Excel sheet where they have, you know, the emails and things of their customers, and but I'm sending them a newsletter once in a while on email. So again, you can say it's sort of competing with some of the things that we are doing. So on certain levels there is competitors. You can take the next level, you can go to a software called MindBody from America. It's for spas and stuff like that. So that's a very heavy software. It's well developed over years and years and years, but it's maybe too developed for a small micro business. So different levels, we have different competitors. What most people, when we give the value proposition of Book and Bloom, puts us in a category is with marketplaces. Okay? So very quickly, in London it's like Bohanda, or in Greece you have Frank Martini, which is also a marketplace, which is catering and offering certain parts of what we do to the same verticals. Okay? The problem if you are a marketplace is that, first of all, you're not building a legacy around your own clients. These clients came through a third-party website marketplace, and in a way you didn't attract them to your business. You don't build loyalty around it, you don't build your client database on it around it. Plus, a marketplace in many occasions take a very high revenue cut on your top line. So it's great to have a few bookings where you give 20% away, but you cannot build a business on it. Okay? Or I already have 50 or 100 customers in my business. Am I going to send them over a marketplace just to book online? No. I will tell them to keep calling me. So if I should be very, very honest, and there isn't a business operating system today that works via Facebook like us. It doesn't exist. And I have that from Facebook. We have many, many conversations with them. So, and it's really our belief that for a small business, for a small local business, the best place to operate is via Facebook. You're already friends with your customers, you're already engaged with them, you are already communicating with them, you can use them to leverage them and give you their family and friends to become customers of yours. So I think it makes a lot of sense. So touch wood, and as long as it goes without competitors, direct competitors, we're happy.
So, would you consider bots a competitor?
Bots are a great addition, and I just returned from F8. Facebook had their developers conference last week in Silicon Valley, and we were 3 people over there. An amazing experience, and if any one of you is working anything with Facebook, I highly recommend that you, whenever the opening for the applications for next year is out, immediately apply. Facebook is so accessible. You talk to product managers, you talk to directors, you have almost Mark Zuckerberg walking around amongst you. I mean, it's just so accessible, which is great. And you can also say, why not? I mean, they want to connect the whole world, so why can you not? So they are very accessible. So the announcement of chatbots into Messenger is a great product addition, and it's quite funny because our CTO, he sent me a presentation 3 months ago or something. He said, Claus, this is a booking done summer 2017, and he did not know about the bots, but he, of course, as a CTO, he knows about the bots in other applications. And he just described, a client, a consumer, texting or messenger to the bot, say, hey, I would like to make an appointment. And the chatbot, of course, will reply back with available slots, asking which employee you want to do. So very soon, and as soon as we can build this, we're going to integrate bots into the messenger so that the lady with her little mailbox, she can continue doing her job, giving good customer service, and the bookings will sort of just tick in from a assistant, a receptionist. That is a bot. We can call her Amy or Andrew or something. And so in this way, I think technology is really adding value. I mean, you're a small business, you have yourself, you have 1 employee, but you can service with high quality client engagement via a technology bot. I think that is so cool.
it's amazing how you see this as an opportunity rather than as a threat. And I would really like to see how you integrate with them.
I'm not saying it's going to be easy, and because we need to study the different access point into the API from the messenger, and we need to connect that with your shop and your messenger, and then you need to tell your clients that, hey, you can just text me on messenger next time and we will fix your appointment. But we have a very good example from Colombia. In Colombia, like any other places, the small shops needed to move their clients to book, instead of calling them, to book somehow via technology. So they didn't have any products. So many of the shops in Colombia, they put their WhatsApp telephone number in the window. And because WhatsApp is so used in Colombia, people would just pick up the number and they would start texting. So they are already used to texting to the owner, but when you do that, the owner has to go back and write that appointment in a calendar somewhere and check that he's available. So it just becomes one long chat stream with different people, and I have to scroll back and find out what day was it you wanted, etc. So it's a natural progression, I think, and it's just great that technology now can be integrated and help small businesses.
So you also talked about Facebook's flagship event, F8. What's the the pre-work, let's say, for a startup to attend a conference like that? Because I think being organized before you go there is really important.
That's really important. That's with anything you're doing. First of all, is make your objectives clear. Why are we going there? Why are we spending thousands of euros in tickets and hotels and everything? Why are we going there? So let's have a little bit of an idea about the return on investment. So why are we going there? Could be meetings. It could be a number of people that you want to meet in particular. So in our case, you go through the sessions, the meetings, and you say, this is interesting, this is interesting, you divide who goes where, because you cannot be at several places at one time. At least I have not managed to do that yet. So we divide who goes where, and it's full on. You see each other sometimes only in the afternoon again, because you're all in different meetings. And then it's important to reassess every day, sit down and say, okay, that was really interesting, and maybe we need to change because I'm going to meet this guy again tomorrow. And take it serious. It's work. I mean, it's not there to drink coffees and hang around. It's work. You have to take it very serious. It's also a lot of money. Yeah.
All right. So, what's the most difficult part? Is it developing the product, or actually going door to door and getting these customers in?
In the beginning, when you start developing a product, you go out and talk to your customers and your users and get feedback, and that we call it the product market fit. And there's a lot of people that don't do that effort, and I would say we were maybe guilty of the same thing in the beginning, not listening enough to the clients. Because if you just think the product is good enough and you just start focusing on getting more clients or customers, and it's not good enough, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your money, you're burning your leads, you're burning your energy and everything. So you need to have that elusive product market fit where people are hanging around, they're staying, they're using the product, they are actually paying for it. When you are at that point, you can say you have that product market fit. Then you can shift your focus. I would actually say, and I've said to our organization, we have for 3 years been a product-focused product development company. Now we're shifting focus to a sales and marketing company. We're hiring sales and marketing people, sales and marketing engineers, and people that understand these things that we're doing. But we are shifting from being a product company that has developed the ground base, the basic of a great tool, to a sales and marketing organization. So in the beginning, try to have product and traction or talking to the customers, you know, more or less equal. And if you can't have it equal, great, but at least you need some traction in the sense that you need to talk to customers and get some feedback from them into your product development. And then at some point, shift maybe the weight over so it's more sales and marketing. Product improvements never ends. Product roadmap never stops.
So here at Startup Grind, we always talk about the stories that were all about challenges. And may I ask you, what was your biggest challenge in this journey so far?
There are many challenges, from having no money, from having no one who loves your product, and it's really hard and you cannot understand it. The challenge is always to listen to the customers, find out what it is that they really need, translate that into software and a product that can be built and that we can deliver to them. With the constraints of all the resources, time, money, people. Are you one engineer? Are you 5 engineers? You know, so it's impossible to say that there's one big challenge. It is a melting pot of challenges every single day, and I always say to my people that asks me about entrepreneurship, when you set out, and those people that want to start a startup, you have to know that 15% you know, 50% you know you don't know. So then there's 70% you don't know. And this is where all the challenges comes in, because suddenly you have gone 2 days down the road where you covered all the I knows and all the I know I don't knows, and then suddenly you walk into an area of you don't know. And that's a challenge, and it happens, as you can hear, 2/3 of the time.
So what would you do differently then, knowing what you know today?
First of all, this was my first technology startup. Had I decided to start a cleaning company or a trading company or some of the other things that I have tried, it would have been much easier because I would know much more. So taking a domain as an entrepreneur that I did not know much about, like technology, you know, I did it and I would have done it again, but that is a challenge. I mean, choose a domain that you know about. Secondly, in this case, we naively enough decided to attack one of the sort of last main big pillars, getting small businesses online. I mean, this is not an app that says yo, or it's not a picture sharing, you know, here's the picture of my dog or something. It's a business management tool, you know. We're dealing with the livelihood of small business, so it's a huge challenge, you know. So naively, I went into technology without knowing much about technology. Naively, we went to solve one of the really big, last-standing problems of small businesses going online. So I wouldn't have done anything different, but I would just have liked to have been more aware of the scope of work that we started out and what it meant to run a technology company.
Well, I guess it takes some sense of craziness in order to start anything. So
100%. I mean, entrepreneurs are, we are, and I say we because most of you maybe have that same DNA and a little bit of the spark. You know, we have our mind set on something. We are very strong-minded. We also make horrible partners because, you know, we want it our way, so we set our mind on something and we want to fix that and solve that and build that. Yeah, it's not easy.
Well, if it was easy, we will all be entrepreneurs.
Exactly, and this actually leads to the point of if I should be asked one virtue, one essential quality of succeeding or being an entrepreneur, and that is the one word perseverance. You have to, because there are going to be so many rainy days and so many bad times, and you have heard it before, but it is true. I mean, there is days when nothing is working, and as I said, the bank account is empty, but you wake up next morning and say, okay, another fresh day, perseverance, and believing that, yeah, but I am doing something that is going to be good, and maybe they can't see it now, but it is going to be good, and you believe it in yourself, and keep going. Perseverance is absolutely the virtue of an entrepreneur that I believe the most in.
And I should tell you that it's a common theme from all the speakers that have been hosted here in Startup Grind. They keep saying consistency and keep trying is the only way. But I would like to ask you, since entrepreneurship is very, very hard, what is your real passion? What makes you, get a speeding ticket going to work?
Great question, and I will honestly answer it from the bottom of my heart. For me, it's about building a company where people come to work, they make a livelihood out of it, they go home, they feed their kids, that what I have helped establish becomes the centerpiece of hundreds, and in Russia I have thousands of people employed. That what we have done together, we have built a company where people come to work, they work their ass off, they take a paycheck and go home, put their kids to school, and to being able to build that entity for someone else, that's great. I love seeing that people coming to work and being happy to go to work and doing their best, and then we can pay them a salary and they can make a livelihood out of it. So for me, it's about building that company, that community.
Great. So, we are all trying to figure out what the future will be like. So, you seem to have put yourself in a position where you are able to see where the park is going versus just where it is today. How did you develop those skills, and how can we as entrepreneurs develop these skills for ourselves?
I don't know if it's a skill, but having the ability to think ahead and sort of extrapolate an idea. So if you take Facebook 4 years ago, how it looked, how it felt, how it was, it's already dramatically different than how it is today, and how easy we are using it, and how easy it is to use, etc. So in that case, we had to set up a hypothesis and hypothesis, and we had to believe that, this will go from here to here, and when it's there, we will be here with this problem, basically. And of course, you can get it wrong, okay? And along the way, you can change and adjust. But you need to set a starting point, and you need to set. And this is where I believe it's a bit like you use the Tesla. Tesla and Elon Musk cannot deliver a Tesla 3 for $35,000 today. So he's calculating that the drop in components, battery, etc., the mass production, this production at scale, is going to meet his price point in 4 years from now on. Okay? So it's, he predicts the future. He is going to work his ass off to get there, and I'm sure he's going to get there. But it is that you foresee something, you extrapolate something out of the future, you believe in it, and you go for it, of course. And then if you along the way see that things are dramatically changing, you will adjust your product vision and things. So it's about seeing and believing in what you see in the future, and stick with that.
Okay. So, what do you think about Greek entrepreneurship, and what lessons should we as Greeks should learn from other countries?
In many countries in Europe, and I say this as a Dane, and I work and live in Madrid, and I have a company now in Greece. What normally tends to be, so it's maybe not just appointed to Greeks or to the Greek market, is that people are most comfortable doing things in their own sphere, and that becomes a very small market. Maybe you can build a nice little app that can satisfy 2,000 people or 5,000 people in Greece and make a small business out of it, but don't expect ever to raise money or to go anywhere bigger than that if that's your ambitions. So I think for Europeans, we tend not to be so, let's go change the world approach, but that is really what you need. You need to think much bigger. Denmark is such a small country and we speak a funny language that no one else speaks, that we are born to think outside of the Danish borders. So if you ask a Danish entrepreneur, his product is in English already, he has not even thought about building it in Danish because, who's going to find it in Denmark? So they think like that already. And I don't know if that's the case in Greece, but very often in Europe we see that people are not thinking big enough.
All right. Well, you guys have any questions? Maybe for Claus?
Claus.
Yeah, we will have the gentleman there first.
Okay.
So, where it was, you had a presence in many countries. Where it was most difficult, you had a presence in many countries. Where it was most difficult to establish a company? Whatever, let's say.
To establish a company, so Greece was not the most difficult.
Thank you very much.
It was not. Spain, it took at least 3 weeks, 3,000 euros and a lot of visits to the notary. Difficult, heavy, red tape, paperwork. It was really hard. I don't think, how long did we spend in Greece? It was we did a Greek IKEA, so it was a very short process. But you're touching on something which is very important for entrepreneurship and for entrepreneurship to grow, is the ability to set up a company, the easiness of it. I mean, in the UK, you're doing it online and it costs you £20 and you have a business, okay? Or you have a company, you don't have a business. And the same in Denmark, you go online and you set up your company and these kind of things. So this is something that every country needs to make it very, very simple. And so if I should compare now, I can only say that Spain was actually one of the most difficult places to set up a company. Okay.
What's the destination of Coleman?
Sorry?
The destination of Coleman, Book and Bloom.
Okay, our company is registered in Cyprus. So it's a Cyprus holding company, and we have subsidiaries in these markets here. So the Greek subsidiary is now 20 people, 14 in Thessaloniki, 6 people here in Athens. They are a service company to us, so they provide work for the mother company, and we provide them with the investments and money from them. So that's the structure that you have put up. And it comes because I lived in Cyprus when we started the company.
What are the key differences between your markets? Colombia, Greece, Spain, UK, the main differences?
Okay. Actually, the reason why we went to Colombia is actually for us, we want to go to Latin America very, very fast. The reason why we want to be in Latin America is because in Latin America, service and services is something that is very highly. The girls do their hair every day, every week. They do their nails every week. Even the men does their hair every week. There is a high usage of services. They have photographers to come and take pictures of their dogs. They have a laser clinic for their bikini, and I mean, there are so many services for the people in Latin America. So there's just much more usage of our main proposition of bookings in those markets. But there is differences, and you need to have that product market fit. And I'll be honest with you, we don't have a proper product market fit in Spain yet. The tool that we have developed here in Greece, and we have used the Greek market as testing and learning, as I said to you. When we took that product to Spain, it's nice, okay, but we didn't have the retention. People signed up, used it, it was missing things. So in Colombia, for instance, the product has a product market fit, we believe it. So it differs from market to market how well it fits into the market. But we will fix that in Colombia or in wherever we market within and get it right. But again, you have to go out, listen to the market. That's why you need these salespeople. That's why you need to address the issues.
What about Greece?
The Greek market is something we would say today that we have a product market fit. We have people coming on board. We have people staying. I think out of the 800 bookings a week, 500 or some of them are from Greece already. So we feel comfortable with the Greek market. We have people paying for our product and happily using it day in and day out.
I have a maybe strange question, but do you see having difficulties collecting the subscription from your clients? I mean, we have a crisis going on, and a lot of small businesses are struggling right now. So is that an issue for you?
Yes, and I think we're the only startup who went through 2 capital controls. One was capital control in Cyprus, and one was capital control here in Greece. And actually, when you had your capital control in Greece on the Sunday, we had a board meeting. We were all in the C team together with our investor in Cyprus, and Konstantis texted me and said, "Shit, Claus, the banks are closed on Monday." I said, "Oh my God, what are we going to do?" So basically, I ran to the bank and I took out 2,000 or 3,000 euros. I mean, just for the gesture of coming to the office Monday morning, everyone was in a panic, and I said to Barbis, anybody that needs money and has an urgency with their mom or anything, just show them that we have the money, we are taking care of you, we're going to do our best to help you through this crisis. But yes, we have maybe more issues here where the credit card doesn't have money in it. I can see, quite often that it's flagged that the credit card doesn't have money, and that means a salesperson will have to call up the shop owner and say, hey, you need to put in 19 euros into your credit card. Yes, but we have made a system where it's flagged and it's just one phone call. So, we can hope that it will go away one day. But we have to accept that this is the situation. And we will not experience that maybe in other markets, but we just have to accept it.
And your investors, did they factor the country risk in this whole process, or did you manage to convince them that
No, there is a country. As an investor, our investor, and any other investor, he thinks about selling the company or exiting the company and getting his money back. I mean, this is why he's not giving. The investor doesn't give you the money for the same reason that I started the company. I started the company to build a great product that millions of small businesses can use, and I started the company to give a great working environment for hundreds of employees. That's not why the investor came on board. The investor gave you millions to give him, 1 million to give him 3 million back. Okay, so he's there to sell the company. And if you think of that, then coming from Cyprus, no good. Coming from Greece, no good. So yes, there is a risk, country risk in that equation, but there I have told our investors at the point of such an event, we could be an American company. We can change that structure. So because if you went to sell a company today and you said you agreed to be discounted 70%, which without any reason. So you don't want to be labeled as a discount company. We are not in that situation right now, so it doesn't really matter.
All right. As the hour passes, any last questions before we close our event today?
Entrepreneurial questions, hardships, what you want to go through. Maybe you didn't know, but I am running the startup brand in Madrid.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting on that side of the chair whenever I'm in that. And the entrepreneurial questions, I think is interesting. When should I skip my job? When should I start my company? These kinds of things. So if any of you have questions like that, I will also be happy to answer them. Not around book and but entrepreneurship.
I'd like to ask you, what's the next step for you? Next day.
The next step, I don't have a timeline. I will go to work tomorrow to build this product even better and roll it out there. So we don't go to work to, sorry? 100%. Improve the product, expand the market, reach more people, get more people online, help small businesses survive, or help someone who wants to start a business take the jump and go out and use our tool on Facebook to start a help out or whatever she wants. If you want to give language lessons or mentorships or whatever we can do.
One last question for me. How do customers perceive, say, security for business or enterprise usage?
Okay.
Regarding Facebook? Because Facebook has been, say, linked mostly for personal usage, and lately it's trying to establish itself as also an entrepreneur to be environment. But
Okay.
it's at a very early stage.
First of all, our product, Book and Look, is running and is placed on our servers. Okay, so that all the business data, meaning your clients list and these kind of things, are hosted on our data servers and is hosted on very, very professional data servers. We're using OpenShift system with Red Hat, so from a cybersecurity perspective, they are the ones providing the absolutely top tier cyber protection. When the client, the consumer, logs in and wants to make a booking, he just gives a Facebook permission that we will take your picture so that you have a profile picture in the CRM system. That you can also, when you're done with the booking, post a wall, great little saloon, you should check it out, etc. So we don't take any sensitive data. We don't have any sensitive data. And the data we have, your name and the bookings that we've done is hosted on our servers. They're public, but they're hosted on our servers in a secure service. So it's maybe what your question is about is more about the perception.
It's about the perception.
It's about the perception, yeah.
Not the technical part.
I would say, have you ever felt that you have been presented with something on Facebook that, wow, how did they know that about me? I have personally not. Never. I mean, I was thinking, if they know so much about me, their advertising sucks, because I've never been presented with something. Claus, he is a great new cooking tool because you like food. I've never seen an ad like that. Okay? So still, I mean, I have not even been presented with something where they know anything about me. It's much more creepy when Google pops up because you have written an email and they pop up with something that you had in your email from the last half an hour ago, and they give you, hey, are you looking for cookbooks? Where the fuck did you know that from? Okay? So I have, in a way, more faith in Facebook, and Facebook's business model is selling advertising. Okay? There's nothing else. It's about selling advertising. And respect for them to having connected 1.6 billion people and being able to sell advertisement to them and place something in front of them. I am not afraid if Facebook knows that I'm a Protestant. I am not afraid that they know I am married. I'm not afraid. I mean, in a way, why should I be? It's a little bit like 99% of us, we have nothing to hide.
Oh, you will be surprised. All right, and I believe there was a question over there.
Thank you very much.
So, guys, thanks for attending tonight's Startup Grind event. Thank you, Claus, for being here. And also, I'd like to thank, I will say that in Greek if that's okay. Ο Claus που λέτε. Λοιπόν, θα ήθελα να ευχαριστήσω το Athens για τη φιλοξενία για άλλο ένα μήνα, τον ΣΕΚΕ που μας υποστηρίζει, το eFood που μας παρέχει την πίτσα, I'm sure you got that, and last but not least, our communication sponsors, Κίνηση, co-working spaces, go check it out. Thanks a lot and see you next month.